This is Dr. Suniti Khandekar and welcome to Suniti's Diet and Kidney Academy, where we learn, help and achieve. Diet and Kidney Academy is a complete solution to the quest for Indian renal nutrition. Okay, so Indian renal nutrition, this is the ad that is going on and you are seeing it everywhere. So it's an online course in renal nutrition which has a global access through desktop and Android app with 6 months of unlimited access, online self-generated certificate after completion of the course, includes content of basics and advanced course, more than 1000 minutes of learning, which includes the recorded as well as the live sessions. It has a free bonus content that are known as the companion courses and live sessions by eminent faculty. Now, renal nutrition basics 2.0, that is what we are going to discuss today. So Renathon is a patient education topic that we are going to discuss. Code of honor of Diet and Kidney Academy is empathy, authenticity and logic. We should empathize with the patient. We should know what the patient is going through. We should know that whatever we are discussing with the patient is authentic. It is backed by science and it is backed by research. Now, Indian diets and Indian data have not been researched to the extent of the foreign data or the Western data that we come across. But the authenticity and the science and the logic behind those researches that have been done in the Western world can be utilized for our Indian patients with modifications according to their Indian diets and to their comorbidities and to the condition. Now, the logic behind why we are doing what we are doing, we should be able to impart that logic to our patients. Now, the 3 pointers of Diet and Kidney Academy is focus, hard work, and follow the system. Focus should be your most important asset. There is no substitute to hard work, and we need to follow the system. For those who have joined in recently in Renal Nutrition Basics 2.0, let me tell you that you need to think Indian. Our patients are Indian, our geography is Indian, our patients' diet is Indian, and we are Indian. So we need to go to the grassroots level in order to understand as to why we should be studying renal nutrition. Why renal nutrition, why kidney nutrition is important. Now I'm discussing this again and again because you should be able to discuss it with your patients at any given point of time. It's like my mentor says that even if somebody wakes you up at 3 o'clock at midnight and asks, come on, tell me why renal nutrition is important, you should be able to come up with at least 5 points immediately, even if so you should be that prepared. So eating all kinds of fast food, okay, that has led to rising cases of diabetes, rising cases of obesity. Now, rising cases of diabetes because of this obesity, that which we call as diabesity, wherein 1 in 3 diabetes patients develop CKD. This figure may rise, rising cases of hypertension. स्ट्रेस की वजह से ओबेसिटी, ओबेसिटी की वजह से हाइपरटेंशन. स्ट्रेस तो आजकल कहाँ कहाँ नहीं है. स्ट्रेस इज एवरीवेयर. Right from pre-nursery admission to KG1, KG2, to higher classes, to your jobs. Even a farmer is stressed, a millionaire is stressed, everybody is stressed in this world. So rising cases of hypertension, wherein 1 in 5 hypertensive patients develop chronic kidney disease. And India is and was the capital of diabetes in the world, now heading towards hypertension, and slowly all these diabetic and hypertensive patients may land into chronic kidney disease. Okay, so we need to be really working at the grassroots level. Now, we are nutritionists and dietitians. We come across kidney patients. So let's go back. We should tackle diabetes in a more what should I say, a very specific particular fashion. We should tackle hypertension with all kinds of dietary modifications that the patients may require to prevent the further progression of hypertension into kidney problems. And then again go back one step, the diabesity or the obesity needs to be tackled. I am very happy that people are joining in, and yes, we have already started this session. Now, why kidney nutrition is important, that's what we have already discussed this slide. Okay, now Functions of the kidneys, we all are aware of the functions of the kidneys. Why we are discussing it again and again is because we want to know and we want to be ready. That's what I said. My mentor says even if you're woken up at 2 o'clock at midnight, you should be able to counsel your patients at least for 5-10 minutes before you go to sleep again. So, 3 functions of the kidneys: excretory functions, excretion of all the waste products; synthetic functions, making of erythropoietin, making of vitamin D, and gluconeogenesis during starvation; and regulatory function of the kidneys, which regulates the blood pressure and blood volume via sodium absorption and excretion. Okay. Now, how to take care of the kidneys? This is my video which has been there on the internet since COVID. So 7-point strategy to protect kidneys. पेशेंट को बताना है ये 7-point strategy. Okay. बास्केटबॉल में 3 pointers बहुत फेमस हो गया था. And then we have this 7-point strategy. ब्लड प्रेशर को हमेशा कंट्रोल में रखना है. ब्लड शुगर को हमेशा कंट्रोल में रखना है. इवन इफ यू आर डायबिटीज, even if you have hypertension, you should control blood pressure. You should control your sugars. They should be in a steady state. There should not be spikes, neither in blood pressure or in blood sugars. There should be control of weight, maintenance of a healthy weight. Okay, weight is lean body mass, muscle mass, and fat mass. In our patients, it is also the water which adds to the weight. So weight control for any patient from CKD stage 1 is of utmost importance. Infection control. They should be eating home food, which is the best food, which is cooked according to the guidance given by the nutritionists or dietitians. Stress control, yes, through meditation, yoga, and following the hobbies. Malnutrition prevention. We all will be discussing the details about protein energy and how protein energy wasting affects the chronic kidney disease. As of now, just remember, they need to eat proteins. Indians need to eat proteins. They cannot be devoid of protein intake in their everyday diet. And lifestyle modifications, one aspect is, if lifestyle is modified, then blood pressure, sugar, weight control, infection control, and even stress and malnutrition prevention can be avoided. Okay, this is what we did in our Rinathon 1.0. All those my previous colleagues in renal nutrition basics would know that. Okay, now causes of chronic kidney disease. Okay, diabetes, hypertension, CKD of unknown origin, where we don't know what has caused the chronic kidney disease, but the patients come to us with this problem. Okay, then excessive use of painkillers, over-the-counter medications, and non-tested alternative medications. Okay, some herbal teas, some herbal decoctions, some herbal kadas, they all lead to chronic kidney disease. We don't know what is causing it, but yes, in the end, the patients have results showing that their creatinine, their urea, their phosphorus, their potassium, everything is increasing. Okay, what happens when kidneys fail? Just something basic. There is increase in urea, there is increase in creatinine, there is increase in blood pressure, there is increase in water retention in the body, and then there is swelling. There is decrease in erythropoietin, which leads to decrease in hemoglobin, and there is decrease in the vitamin D production in the patients. Symptoms of chronic kidney disease. Symptoms do not arise till late stages of chronic kidney disease, and hence commonly CKD is diagnosed at the later stages of 4 and 5. Some patients who are quite aware, if they are having long-standing diabetes or hypertension, they may be getting their regular kidney function tests done. They may detect it at an earlier stage, but patients who have got CKD of unknown origin or something like that, they may come to the OPD, or they come up with some other problems, and then suddenly when the kidney function tests are done, they are diagnosed of having chronic kidney disease. So the symptoms are easy fatigability, generalized weakness, there is reduced appetite, there is nausea, there is reduced urine output, swelling over the feet, and breathlessness at rest or relaxation. That is what happens. All right. Now, these are the different stages of CKD. This is given in a detailed video in your recorded sessions. Okay, so let me skip that. Now, dietary advice is of utmost importance, wherein we need to assess the patient as to whether the patient is eating well or not. There should be a goal setting. The goal setting should be of 3 months duration. Okay, now even though we have set a goal of protein, calories, potassium, sodium, phosphorus, and fat for our patients for a period of 3 months, if there are changes in his blood reports, if there are changes in the comorbidities, if there are changes in the blood sugars, okay, or if there are hypertension, or if the lipid profile is showing derangement, then the diet should be modified once the fresh reports comes in. It may be within 15 days or 1 month or 1.5 months, even before 3 months. So this counseling should be done to the patients, that if there are changes in your blood reports, come to us for a change in the diet. As you go to the doctor to get your medicines changed, come to us for changing of the diet. We just modify a few items here and there, and you're good to go. But the patients should know that they should visit a nutritionist, because if they continue eating the same diet that was based on previous blood report, then that may lead to problems in future. So monitoring of this diet and follow up with the patient is of utmost importance. Why I discuss home food is important? Because it is well cooked, clean, hygienic, healthy, nutritious, and as advised by renal nutritionist. Okay, now we discuss 10 questions on why kidney nutrition is important. You may write down, you may type these down. We are going to discuss it in a question and answer form. This is a new format that we have. We are starting in Renathon 2.0, wherein these are the questions which patients may ask, or you should answer, give the answers as though you are answering these questions. So, what is chronic kidney disease? And why is nutrition important in managing this condition? Okay, explain it to the patient. You can write it down as chronic kidney disease is a progressive condition where the kidneys gradually lose function over time. You may not even know, because seriously, chronic kidney disease, when it sets in, nobody notices. When it progresses to the stages wherein the patients start having swelling over feet, or breathlessness, or generalized weakness, and the hemoglobin starts going down, and when the patients go and get their kidney functions done, then only they get to know that they are having chronic kidney disease. So explain this to the patient. Nutrition is crucial in managing chronic kidney disease. Why? Because it helps slow the progression of kidney damage, it prevents complications, and supports overall health. 3 points. Helps slowing the progression of kidney disease or kidney damage, prevents complications, and supports overall health for the patients. Note it down. Copy it down. Explain it to your patients. Okay? Next question. Next question. How does chronic kidney disease affect nutritional needs and dietary recommendations? Okay? How does chronic kidney disease affect nutritional needs of the patients, and how does it affect the dietary recommendations? Chronic kidney disease can impact nutritional needs by altering the electrolyte balance in a patient's body, by altering the fluid retention and waste product built up in the body. We all know this, but we during these 2.0 sessions, now we are systematically putting it one under the other in question answer format. Okay, so CKD can impact nutritional needs by altering the electrolyte balance, be it sodium, be it potassium, be it chloride, be it phosphorus. Okay, water, fluid retention, and waste products built up in the form of urea in the body. Now, how does it affect the dietary recommendations? The dietary recommendations for chronic kidney disease often focuses on managing protein, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, and fluid intake. Okay, just 5 things. I would add one more to it. Okay, 5 things mainly: protein, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, fluid, and add to it adequate calories. Because along with comorbidities, along with diabetes, the calories need to be managed in such a way that the blood sugars do not rise, and at the same time, the hypercatabolic stage of chronic kidney disease is maintained. And all this is to prevent further complications. Now, if protein is not managed well, what is the complication? Protein energy wasting, long run kidney damage faster. Phosphorus problem, CKD MBD, chronic kidney disease, bone mineral density problems. Potassium, hyperkalemia, hypokalemia, arrhythmias, cardiac arrest. Sodium, water retention, hypertension, congestive cardiac failure, cardiac overload problem, breathlessness due to fluid overload in the body, patient getting admitted to the ICU. Fluid intake, if not managed, weight gain between 2 dialysis. If the patient is not on dialysis, then again weight gain, water retention, breathlessness, because all the body cavities are being filled up with this excess water, and then the patient lands into intensive care unit ICU as a problem. So why dietary recommendations are important in chronic kidney disease? This is the reason. Okay, I hope you're all noting it down in point shooter style for your patients and for your understanding. Next question. Why is controlling protein intake important in chronic kidney disease? Okay, now the question is controlling the protein intake. Okay, it should not be, the protein intake should not be completely banished from the diet. It should not be at a very low level. Of course, if it is a very low protein diet, it should always be accompanied by medications known as keto analogs. Now, these keto analog medications are the medications that are given to support very low protein diet. These are amino acid supplements which are recommended by the nephrologist, and you should be in constant contact with the patient and with your nephrologist in order to understand that if the patients are taking keto analog medications to prevent the progression of their chronic kidney disease in earlier stages, then these medications are given according to the patient's weight. And your diet should be supportive to these keto analog medications to help prevent the progression of chronic kidney disease. So the very low protein diet, as low as 0.2 or 0.3 gram proteins of dietary proteins per kilogram body weight per day needs to be calculated. So this is known as controlling the protein intake, whether it is a low protein diet with keto analog supplementation or maintenance protein, which is the routine protein which is advisable for patients of chronic kidney disease. It is mainly 0.6 to 0.8. It's a range depending on the patient's conditions and comorbidities. So controlling protein intake is important in chronic kidney disease. It reduces the burden on the kidneys. This is during the earlier stages, and minimizing the buildup of waste products such as urea and creatinine, which can further damage kidney functions. But this is for patients from stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once the patient is on hemodialysis or peritoneal dialysis, the controlled protein intake has to be increased in accordance to his demands when they are on hemodialysis or peritoneal dialysis. And we know that for patients with chronic kidney disease who are on hemodialysis, they require protein intake from 0.8 to 1.2 grams per kilogram body weight per day. And for peritoneal dialysis, the protein intake further increases. It can be between 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of dry body weight per day. And this keeps on changing according to the demands. This needs to be discussed with your nephrologist, with sir, and ask the doctor as to how are you going to calculate the protein for your patients. Okay. Next question. What are some strategies for managing protein intake in chronic kidney disease? There are certain strategies. How do we manage that? Now, these are generalized basic concepts that we are discussing here for your patients to understand. The details of these are in the recorded videos that you have in the Renal Nutrition Basics 2.0 main course. Okay. The strategies for managing protein intake in CKD. It includes consuming high quality protein sources. Now, high quality protein sources does not necessarily mean that it should be of animal protein only, because we need to limit animal protein for the other disadvantages as phosphorus, cholesterol, and the lipid content. So high quality protein sources can also mean the focus should be on plant-based proteins, which is basically Indian diets. Alright? And options such as legumes, tofu, and grains. Moderation and portion control are the key. So selection, moderation, and restriction. Remember these three words. You need to discuss this with your patients time and again. Selection of your protein sources, moderation of your protein sources, which is also known as portion control, and restriction of certain protein items in the daily diet can help nutritionists manage the protein which is required for a particular stage of chronic kidney disease in our patients. Okay, I hope you have noted this down. Next question. How does phosphorus management play a role in chronic kidney disease nutrition? Okay, phosphorus, again, we discuss all those 4-5 points: protein, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, fluid, and calories. 6 points which need to be managed in patients of chronic kidney disease, be it in any stage. So how does phosphorus management play a key role? Phosphorus management is crucial. Now, where does phosphorus come from? In the diet, the dietary phosphorus mainly comes from milk and milk products, a few phosphorus rich grains, but mainly milk and milk products, and the non-vegetarian food that the patient is eating. So phosphorus management is crucial in chronic kidney disease because impaired kidney functions can lead to elevated phosphorus levels. Phosphorus bahar hi nahi ja pata. Now, which can contribute to bone disease. Now, these elevated phosphorus levels, it pulls out the calcium from the bones, making the bones weak. Now, this phosphorus calcium ratio to be maintained in the blood, when the bones start losing calcium, they start becoming weak. There could be osteomalacia, that is, the bones becoming soft. There could be easy breaking of the bones. Okay, it may lead to cardiovascular complications also when there is circulating phosphorus in the blood, and other health issues that we already discussed. Easy breaking, frailty of the bones. Patients may have fractures, frequent fractures, even just by a small hit on the bone. So that is the reason why phosphorus is important. Also, there could be itching, irritation all throughout the body for the patient. That's why maintaining phosphorus is important. Next question. What are some dietary sources? Oh, we just discussed it in the previous slide. We can repeat it. What are some of the dietary sources of phosphorus, and how can individuals with chronic kidney disease reduce the phosphorus intake? Now, dietary sources of phosphorus includes dairy products, as we discussed, nuts, seeds, some whole grains, and processed foods, which mainly includes processed meat. So, individuals with chronic kidney disease can reduce their phosphorus intake by limiting consumption of these high phosphorus foods and choosing low phosphorus alternatives. Now, the low phosphorus alternatives are fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, unprocessed or non-processed whole grain products. Okay, nuts and seeds can easily be avoided in case of chronic kidney disease patients. Next question, most important. Why potassium management is important in chronic kidney disease? Now, potassium management is important in chronic kidney disease because impaired kidney function can lead to elevated potassium levels in the blood. Tell this to your patient. It can cause dangerous heart rhythm disturbances. Hyperkalemia, arrhythmia. Hypokalemia, flutters. All these are abnormal heart rhythm conditions, whether the patient is having hyperkalemia or hypokalemia. And all this is preventable just by managing the potassium in the patient's diet. How do we do that? The process is simple, it's leaching. Now, is leaching required for all the stages of chronic kidney disease patients? No. Leaching can be avoided in stages 1 and 2. The patients can have low potassium fruits and vegetables without leaching also, even the dals. But there is a big but coming. We as nutritionists do not know when the patient may progress from stage 1 to stage 3 or 4. Neither does the patient know this. Neither does the nephrologist can predict. It's not predictable at all. If the patient is having other comorbidities like we discussed before, whether it is diabetes or hypertension or any other chronic obesity for that matter. So we do not know when the patient is going to progress. So leaching needs to be taught to the patient right in the first visit when the patient comes to you. This is for future reference. Okay. This is for future reference. So we do not know if the patient comes to you for a follow-up after 3 or 4 months and he is already progressed from stage 2 to stage 3 or 4 or 5. You never know. So the patient must be made aware of the dangers of hyperkalemia, hypokalemia in subtle words. I know we are all science people here. We are discussing this in a very scientific manner. But when we are discussing this with your patients, we need to be very careful in the type of words that we are using. So instead of giving them all the dangerous heart conditions that we are discussing here, we can tell them that they need to protect their hearts. And just now, since kidneys are failing, the heart needs to be protected more. And to protect the heart, we need to follow a process known as leaching. Because even if they are leaching their vegetables, even if they are leaching their dals or pulses, and even if they are not eating any kind of high potassium fruits for that matter, we have not been able to quantify yet as to how much duration of leaching is going to remove how much quantity of potassium in that particular dal or pulse or vegetable. If there is a research article which has recently been published, we are finding for you all, even if you come across such an article, please do share it with us. It has not been quantified. इतना लीच करने के बाद इतना पोटेशियम बच जाता है वेजिटेबल या फ्रूट्स और या पल्सेस में या निकल जाता है. So it is better that we teach the patient the proper leaching process. Now, leaching process is completely different than boiling the vegetable in lots of water and then throwing away the water. No, we are not going to make their life a misery or a miserable hell by demanding the boiling water technique. We are going to keep some taste in the food, some taste in and some quality of life in that patient by giving him proper food. And that is the reason why potassium management is important in patients of chronic kidney disease. Next question. What are the main dietary sources of potassium and how can individuals with chronic kidney disease reduce their potassium intake? Dietary sources for potassium include fruits, mainly, vegetables, dairy products, nuts, seeds, and beans. Okay, yeah. Dairy products mainly are phosphorus. Now, all that has got protein in it has got potassium in it. All that has got protein in it has got phosphorus in it. Sometimes the proteins may be absent, like in some fruits or vegetables, but there is potassium and phosphorus. So all these three P's, the protein, the phosphorus, and the potassium, needs to be managed well in these patients of chronic kidney disease. And there are subtle changes that are to be made in the diet of the patient. There are subtle changes. You need not go a blanket in stopping this, stopping that. No, the patient needs to eat in the end. खिलाओ उसको, क्योंकि malnutrition भी तो prevent करना है. And to prevent malnutrition, the first thing that needs to be maintained is maintaining calories of the patient. That is most important, which we tend to forget in all this protein, phosphorus, potassium, sodium fluid thing in patients of chronic kidney disease. ये नहीं खाना है, वो नहीं खाना है, वो नहीं खाना है, क्या खाना है वो तो बताइए. That is important. डाइटिशियन राउंड पे आती है तो डर लगता है. Is what some admitted patients used to complain to me when I was working at an esteemed hospital in Mumbai. That was the first incidence of me working as a nutritionist. Before that, I have been working as an ICU in charge or a medical resident and all. That is something different. But when it comes to diet, and when I was working as a nutritionist or a dietitian who used to go on floors with the diet charts and with rounds trying to figure out कौन से patient को क्या खिलाना है, they had an in-house pantry. So ये जो डाइटिशियन को देख के या डाइट को देख के जो डर लगता है, ये डर को भगाना जरूरी है. Be friendly with the patient. Try to understand that पूरे दिन के इस हिसाब में आपके कैलोरी, प्रोटीन, पोटाशियम, फास्फोरस, सोडियम के हिसाब में अगर एक आधा आइटम उसकी मन पसंद का आप इनकॉर्पोरेट कर सकते हो तो डू दैट बिकॉज इफ यू गिव वन he will follow the rest of your 10 restrictions. Try and incorporate. Now those incorporation should not be like some kadas or some drinks or some soft drinks or hard drinks or anything. That is a big no. But just one food item. Okay, that is how we need to manage the diet of the patient. So dietary sources of potassium we have already discussed. Now individuals with CKD can reduce potassium intake by choosing lower potassium alternatives. But remember, lots of low potassium food items can lead to a high K. Yeah? आधा किलो कैरी या कच्चा आम नहीं खाना है. Though raw mango is considered as like you can give raw mango to the patient, he should not be eating or drinking half kg of raw mango. What's the use? That is how we need to be managing the potassium in our patients. Next question is about sodium management. How does sodium management contribute to chronic kidney disease management? Now we understand why kidney nutrition is so important, and studying it in details is so important. And that is the reason why the renal nutrition model, the first section of your main course, needs to be thoroughly discussed, thoroughly gone through. So go through those videos in renal nutrition model, which are there one by one, given in 2 languages, because Hindi is the language of your patients. I know we have not gone into the regional languages, but English and Hindi are the two languages that we come across while counseling our patients. Marathi can be one, or if you're a Bengali or a Telugu or Tamil. So understand the concept in at least two languages and then discuss it with your patients. So sodium management, why salt is so important is because it helps control blood pressure, fluid balance in your patients, and swelling, that is edema, which is common in chronic kidney disease. So these are the complications, and these complications are preventable. We are discussing complications that are preventable through diet. Now, other aspects which are not in our hands are the medical conditions or the medicines or the side effects of certain medications or the progression of chronic kidney disease because of certain catabolic changes in the patient's body. That is not in our control. But what is in our control is giving the diet to the patient. And these are the management tips that we are discussing today. Why kidney nutrition is important for your patient. I hope you are taking down lots of notes. Just the question answers, very important today. So what are some strategies which are used for reducing sodium intake? All my previous batch colleagues would know. So strategies for reducing sodium intake in CKD, it includes choosing fresh or minimally processed foods. So fresh fruits and vegetables. Again, do keep in mind the potassium. Do keep in mind the phosphorus. Reading food labels. This is for all those of our patients who live in the Western world, who are having an access to packaged foods for their daily meals. So they should be reading food labels to identify hidden sources of sodium. Main is they need to cook at home. Cooking at home, it helps because you can pick and choose the flavor. You can pick and choose the amount of salt that can be added to the particular food item. Make it to your own taste, of course, with the restrictions that need to be followed for a chronic kidney disease diet. So cooking at home, most important. Using herbs and spices for flavor. And avoiding high sodium condiments and sauces. Very important. So home food, rather I would say home cooked food, best food. Okay, fresh cooked food is the best food. Next question, how does sodium did we do that? Okay, so how does so what are some of the strategies that we also have discussed? I think we have discussed the 10 main questions for why kidney disease is important. So think Indian.